Well, hello, my lovely Facebookers. How are you all today? So I wanted to jump on and do this wonderful live video for you because it's Motivation Monday. Yay! So Motivation Monday, let me just move this around a little bit. Sorry, it's been a bit crazy. Is all about helping you to, feel motivated on a Monday. But what I have realized today is that I want to talk about how really motivation does not exist. So I kind of feel like I am in some sort of a paradigm because I've called it Motivation Monday, and yet we're going to be talking about really why motivation does not exist. So as people are joining on board, I'm going to introduce myself, but do feel free to say hello. Let us know where it is that you're coming from. If you do have a specific question or a comment about anything that I'm telling you, I would love to hear from you. So first of all, if you are catching me live for the first time or watching the replay, thank you so very much. My name is Lisa Barwise. I am a wellness alchemist. I am the kick-ass catalyst in the transformation of women around the world, strong of mind, body and character. And I'm the creator of Warrior Goddess Kettlebell Training and the author of the Warrior Goddess Body book. And I'm here today to talk about motivation because I am getting a lot of messages and a lot of inquiries recently in light of it coming into a time where people are thinking about summer already and thinking about how they needed to get more motivated and need to change and need to maybe lose some weight, or they need to feel stronger, or they've got weddings or events coming up. And suddenly this concept of motivation is coming up. So a lot of the time people would send me a message that says, I find it really hard to stay motivated or to get motivated. They would also maybe say, I did try something, but I didn't do it for very long, and all of this sort of stuff. So there's this sense of there's something missing that they believe is this thing called motivation. But let me tell you something. Motivation doesn't really exist. There is no such thing as motivation because our bodies are wired in a way that if there's something that we want to do, or if there's something that we know that we should do, but it is going to take us out of our comfort zone to get there, our body and our brain automatically starts putting up some blockages, okay? So it basically says, oh, this is uncomfortable, you need to not do that. So no matter what, we're never going to feel like we want to do the thing that we know that is going to be good for us. Okay, so let that just sink in for a second. We're never, ever going to feel like doing the thing that we know that's going to be good for you. Now, eventually you can turn it into a habit and eventually it becomes part of who you are. But when you first go to do something that's different, that's out of your existing routine, that may require, to move out of a comfort zone, etc., you are not going to be set up in a way that you are jumping out of bed excited to do it. There's very few times that will actually be the case, okay? So if you accept that to be true, if you accept that I'm never going to really feel like doing this new thing, this uncomfortable thing, this thing that I know I should do, or this thing that my mind is telling me is a good idea, but yet I can't get my body to turn up, then things kind of change a little bit. So what you need then, rather than a strategy of motivation, is understanding that you're just not going to feel like it and you just need to figure out a way to do it anyway. Okay, so what I'm going to teach you today is actually this wonderful technique, and I've only read half of the book, or I've read some of the book, and I'm going to put her details in below regarding the 5-second rule. Her name is, and I need to actually look up her surname. I know it's Melanie and I don't know how to say her surname, but the 5-second rule, I'll look it up now really quickly. 5-second rule. Melanie, somebody or other. So I'm going to post her details in below, and I'm going to post about the book. But what she says is, Mel Robbins, that's it. Mel Robbins says that you're never going to feel like it. She goes into the science of how your brain is wired a certain way, how, basically, there is never going to be a time where your brain and your body and everything aligns when you first need to do something. So you kind of need to trick it. It kind of is like something that you need to do to snap yourself out of that moment of feeling. Because that moment of feeling is the hesitation. And that hesitation, if we actually hesitate, we actually begin to build a hesitation habit. So believe it or not, that moment where you think, I don't know if I'm going to do it, the brain goes, there's something there, there's some resistance, she doesn't want to do it, so therefore we'll just make it like that it's not good for her to do, we'll send all these terrible feelings, she won't want to do it, that's okay. Because our body is built for fight or flight, our body is built for survival, so if we believe that we're hesitating, it's normally because we think that we're taking a risk, okay? So our body's going, if you're taking a risk, it must be bad for you, let's just make it hard for them to do it. So that hesitation begins to become a habit. So as you hesitate before you do something, that habit sets in, your body will never do it, and you'll be like, oh, it's so hard for me to motivate myself to go and do this thing. So what we need to do is, and I love Mel Robbins' 5-second rule because I have used it time and time again for a couple of things, mostly about getting out of bed is a good one, for going and doing dishes or housework or things that I know that I don't like to do, or making a phone call that I don't like to do. And it's basically 5 seconds where she says you need to just count down like a rocket, like you're literally going out into outer space, of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and do it. Now the reason why, I mean, there's loads of science. She's actually gone into the science of why this 5-second thing works. But what is really cool about it is that it is 5 seconds. You're tricking your brain. You're thinking about something else. There is a countdown where you know that you're going to do something at the end of that. We're also kind of programmed in a way that counting down to something, we know that action is going to be taken. And also we can start to trick our brain into just focusing on the countdown rather than focusing on the thing that your body is saying, oh, don't know if that's too risky, you shouldn't do that. So it's a really cool technique that will help you to make that first decision and that first transition from sleeping in to getting out of bed, to setting an alarm or getting up, to, you know, going in and booking that class, or going and getting out of your house, or whatever it requires you to do, or getting up off the sofa after you've come home and you've plunked yourself down. Okay, I also use it sometimes for when I'm on social media and I know I need to get off social media and stop scrolling. 5 seconds and then I get off. It works a treat. But the key thing also that I wanted to talk about is this concept that motivation is just a very, very small part of you achieving your goals. It is literally just the get off the couch part, okay? It literally is just the 1 minute, let's move my body, let's get out of here moment. It's just that first initial thing. What is the thing that you're looking to build or to have more of is this thing called persistence, okay? So persistence is basically, the definition for me for persistence is doing something time and time again, regardless of the outcome that you're going for, okay? Now, if we are always just incentivized by a reward, I do the thing, I get a reward, I feel good about it. I do the thing, I get a reward, I feel good about it. The problem happens with a lot of exercise or diet or lifestyle change programs is that there is a void, or there's a time and a space where you do something and there's no immediate results, or no immediate results based on the goal that you want. Of course, every exercise class will make you feel better, you'll sweat, you'll burn calories, but if your goal was to lose weight, or if your goal was to get fit, every single class is not going to make you feel fit suddenly or lose that weight suddenly. So sometimes there is like this vortex or this gap between when you do the action and you see the result that you're actually looking for, and that's when we seem to lose motivation. And it's not that you're losing motivation, it's just that you have a causal and effect relationship that's kind of gone a bit skewed. So what we need to look at in this persistence bracket is ask yourself the question, what about forever? Okay? Am I prepared to do this thing that I know that it's good for me, that is also working me towards my goals forever, regardless of whether I achieve that outcome? I'm just going to pause there for a second, because that is kind of scary, right? That's where we're like, I don't know if I want to do this forever. I don't know if I want to exercise this amount and not eat cake ever again, or never eat or never drink wine ever again. Or there's this sense of deprivation and scariness and like anxiety that comes with that. So what you need to find is a program that helps you, or a way or an approach that helps you to find the intrinsic value and the joy and the love of doing this action. And maybe it's an ethical value for you. Maybe you're doing it out of health. Maybe you're doing it out of whatever values. And I'm going to talk about values in a second. You need to find something that means that you're still getting a sense of joy and results and a sense of well-being, also whilst achieving your results. And that is the answer. So that's where you need to build up this persistence muscle. You also need to look for what we call the intrinsic value, or the joy in the doing. It's a little bit like that quote that says, transformation is, or success is a journey, not a destination. And I think that transformation is also a journey without a final destination. I think I've quoted that recently as well, because there needs to be a sense of joy or finding yourself within the journey. So a lot of my clients, what they tend to say is, because we don't focus only on fat loss or weight loss, and although that tends to be what happens, and a lot of the time that's what clients come to me for, I get them to focus more on what I call core belief goals. Most of the time they focus on things like being stronger, they focus on being fitter or being healthier, or they focus even more like into the detail of, I want this amount of energy to be able to walk up flights of stairs to feel better. I want to be able to lift my grandkids up. I want to be able to get up and down without feeling creaky. There's like small, which they then call more mobile. I want to be, I want to feel younger. I want to feel more, vitality, etc. All these sorts of words that we can check in with on a daily basis going, do I feel more energetic today? Do I feel more sexy today? Do I feel more whatever? Whilst I'm doing this process that's working me towards those goals. So what am I trying to say here? So what I'm trying to say here is, if you wait for motivation to do the thing that you want to do, you will be waiting at a bus stop with the bus never turning up. So that is what I'm trying to tell you. If you're waiting for motivation to do the things that you want to do, you will never achieve them, because you will never have motivation to do the things you want to do. Okay, what you can do is you can use some tools to trick yourself into action, which is a great way of doing that. And these resources are a great way to help you, to trick you into that. But you need to go deeper with your goals. You need to go deeper and understanding, well, what about forever? Am I prepared to do this and be a part of this journey for a long time, where I may or may not achieve my goals in the time frame that I want, but I am achieving my sense of my core beliefs, my values, etc. And I find that intrinsic value in what it is that you're doing. Because you know what? When you focus more on that, those other things come naturally. I have a lot of clients, when they focus on strong and they focus on turning up and they focus on control and taking back control of what they're eating, all of a sudden they're noticing, wow, my body's changing shape, I am stronger, I feel leaner, I feel more kick-ass, I feel beautiful, I feel sexy, I feel all of these things, because they're focusing on this side of it. So I hope that was helpful. I hope you guys are starting to understand that it is difficult to achieve the things that you want to achieve for yourself when you don't have these tools, and when you don't have somebody that helps you to break it down, when you can get confused or you're on a strange path with where things are going. So I hope that was helpful. As I said, I thought it was quite a paradigm that I'm talking about Motivation Monday, and I'm telling you that motivation doesn't exist, but in the way that you think it doesn't exist. Whereas I am here to try to help you to rise up and increase your vibration towards what it is that you want by looking at these different strategies and focusing more on values and how you feel about yourself and the journey to get there. So if you, I've written an article about this, a whole blog article about how to get unstoppable motivation, and then I talk about how it's not really motivation. And I'm also going to put in a link to that book, The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins, because it is amazing. And I love how she talks about it. I watched a couple of video interviews about how she talks about it and her own journey. And it really does work. It's a really cool tool to use. So I hope that was helpful. Just so you know, if you haven't already signed up, tonight is our free live training on metabolism masterclass. We're going to be talking hormones, stage of life, everything from PMT, periods, menstruation, menopause, perimenopause, how this affects your weight loss, how this affects the changes in your body, how you can use your, believe it or not, your hormone superpowers to boost any sort of fat loss efforts and avoid sabotaging them through the same tools. You can sign up for that. There's a link actually in my timeline. I'll pop a link in here below too, why not? Because it's tonight at 9 p.m. GMT. It's free. It's all for you. I get asked this question all the time. Why can't I lose weight when I hit 35 plus? Why are things sticking to places they shouldn't be sticking? And if you want to know a little bit about how menopause, perimenopause affects your body and what you should be eating and what exercise you should be doing, then this is for you. So I look forward to connecting with you all. Thank you so much for listening on this not so motivation Monday. And I look forward to chatting with you next week. Or if not, seeing you later this evening. Peace out.